Hey everybody, I'm Jack. This is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Hope the weekend's going well. Hope you're ready for the new week. My Saturday outing wasn't quite as fun as I was hoping it was going to be. I got to Pensacola yesterday morning, was probably about 9:45, 10 o'clock. And I get on the interstate there going downtown. I'm going about 70 miles an hour and I hear this loud pop. At first I thought my tire had blown out. Later on I figured, okay, well I should have known better than that because the car didn't really lose that much control. So I went to the shoulder. I got out of the car expecting, you know, a flat tire, and I went to the back and a big piece of rubber had just flown off my tire, but it was still inflated. So I looked at it. I didn't have a jack in the car. In fact, I haven't been able to find a decent jack around the town where I live, have a spare tire, so I was going to buy one yesterday. So anyhow, I saw that it was intact and I said, well, let me just stay in this little emergency lane thing and just go real slow. Anyhow, hobbled to this one place that was a lube change place. They don't do tires, but they were real nice to me. Took the tire to Walmart, sat around for about 3 hours, got it fixed, but no complaints, because I got thinking later, I've never really had a blown out at that speed, but having a full blowout at 70 miles an hour could have been a little sporty. Although it was on the back right, I don't think the car would have flipped or anything, but still. Anyhow, just happy to be back home. Wasn't any worse than it was. All's good. Want to start the week talking about top 3 raw food diet tips for beginners. I do videos every day. So if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, go down there and hit that subscribe button now, please. Then click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel and YouTube won't unsubscribe you, which they do. Top 3 raw food diet tips for beginners. I wanted to narrow this down to 3 because just the 3 main ones, although there's a lot of them. And a lot of this stuff I just reiterate over and over and over because I think a lot of messages in life, you know, there's a few basic messages and we just kind of need to keep hearing them over and over and over to let them sink in a little bit. My number 1 is always going to be eat enough food. And this translates for everybody, whether you're a beginner or not. This lifestyle is never going to work for you. I say never. I don't say always and never a lot, but yes, I'm saying never. This lifestyle is never going to work out for you if you just don't get that through your head that you have to eat enough food. Okay, get over the fact. I know it's counterintuitive. I know every time you've done a diet in the past, every time you've tried to go on some health kick, whether it be a cleanse or whatever, you'd eat less food. This is a whole different ball game. You have to eat enough food on this lifestyle. If you don't eat enough food, listen, do not depend on discipline. Don't depend on discipline. I don't. And that's a very big misconception that I get from people a lot of times, especially over on Instagram. I'll get little personal messages or I'll have a comment or whatever. Maybe people that don't watch the videos that just see certain things. And sometimes just people, you know, that don't follow this lifestyle or not really interested, that are just in my or in my social media world. I get things, oh, I wish I had your discipline. It's not about discipline. I don't have discipline. If you think I'm a disciplined person, you're not paying a whole lot of attention. I'm wild. I'm just chaotic. I'm one of the most undisciplined people in the world. In fact, I'm starting some work on myself recently to deal with that issue, to have more focus and to have a little bit more discipline. But when it comes to the food, it has 0 to do with discipline for me, 0. And it's had 0 to do with discipline for me from the very beginning. It's all been about keeping myself full. Because like I've said many times on here, and yes, there are exceptions, and there's a few people that always will let me know it's an exception. It's kind of like, well, you're an exception. If you stay full, you're not going to have these cravings. The mind goes to these places. The mind wants all these things that you think you want, because your body hasn't adapted to a cleaner way of living. But your mind goes to these places when you're hungry. Your mind isn't generally going to go to these places when you're well fed, when you're satiated, when you're satisfied and you're not thinking about food. And also too, let me take that a step further. as soon as you start getting hungry, the worst thing people can do on this lifestyle is try to have that discipline and try to say, okay, well, I can hang on, I can tough it out. No, just eat. Eat something good, because we have a license to eat on this lifestyle, regardless of what anybody else says. I'm sorry, you're throwing garbage in there. I can eat it the way I eat, and you see my what I eat in a day videos. I pretty much share everything I eat. I can eat as much of this stuff that I eat as I want to. I'm never hungry unless I'm maybe, you know, in between somewhere and I'm only hungry for maybe 15 or 20 minutes, and it's not real hunger in the first place. So keep yourself satiated and satisfied and full. Number 2 is fat. And I just put it down there like hitting the sweet spot when it comes to fat. Kind of like Goldilocks, you know, that story about too hot, too cold, but looking for just right. But we're look for that sweet spot on fat. But when I say that sweet spot, maybe I should say that sweet zone, because some people will take that to mean, okay, I have to follow exactly. It has to be right here, right this amount of fat. And no, that's not what I mean at all. But you know, you have, and another thing, like the reason people try to go too low fat, that can be a problem too. Let's address the first thing, is people come to the lifestyle and it's all about raw. It's all about raw. And you know, the other part of it, just the healthy part of it, kind of gets moved to the side. Don't do that. Don't do that. Start off with a good mentality on the fat from the beginning. Try to have a healthy medium. Don't go nuts just so you can stay raw, and even worse so in the beginning, because you'll establish a bad habit. Don't eat gobs and gobs and gobs of fat in the name of good fat because it's raw vegan. Well, it's vegan fat, it's good fat, it's healthy fat. Too much fat is too much fat. So try to find a sweet spot. And like I say, I'm kind of giving a big range here. Keep it, you know, maybe 10% is too much for beginners, or too low for beginners to try to hit all the time. Although it's, you know, it's definitely adequate for me. I don't do it all the time. But let's say trying to stay in, like, you know, maybe even in the beginning, 15 to 20%. Even 20%. Now, a lot of raw foodists will say that's way too high, but once again, we're talking about for beginners here. And even 20%, I would say, is lower than what I'm talking about. I'm talking about these ones that, you know, haven't quite learned how to count and figure out all the numbers yet. And a lot of people are probably doubling that. So if you're staying anywhere in the 10, 15, 20% in the fat, that's a good sweet spot. You know, don't go nuts with that. On the other hand, don't let ego get in the way. Ego is what gets a lot of people on this lifestyle too, because they got this big, well, I can do it. I can go harder than other people. I can kind of skip a few stages. I can go to being hardcore right off the bat. And in the beginning, switching over to raw, going to raw, being raw for the first time, most people are not going to do that and do it uber low raw. So that just, you know, trying to go in the other direction and be too strict, too disciplined, too perfect on the fat can sabotage you as well. So try and find that sweet spot on the fat on this lifestyle. Don't get it too high, don't get it too low. And the third and final one is patience. Patience. People don't give themselves enough time. They expect stuff to happen in 15 minutes. They do something for a week. I see people all the time, they'll write, well, I've been doing this for 2 weeks now and I haven't gotten anything. What did you really expect? You ate garbage. You were a goat. You're like a goat eating out of the trash can, just like I was. You know, we ate stuff. We didn't treat our bodies well, depending on how, you know, maybe some of us even worse than others. We did it for a lot of years. You know, maybe we're bringing some health issues in. Maybe we're bringing a lot of weight in. Really? Did you expect like some sort of a transformational miracle in 2 weeks? You're just starting to get, you know, you're probably going to. A lot of people on this lifestyle, you're going to feel worse before you feel better. And it doesn't, I don't necessarily mean terrible. Don't take that to the next degree. But, you know, whether your digestion, whether you're having to learn how to eat that much fiber and, you know, the digestion's not flowing as well in the beginning, takes a little while. So give it a fair amount of time. You know, so many people I think are probably going in the right direction. They might even be very close to making breakthroughs and really starting to get those benefits and be able to feel it. But they're not patient enough. They want it quick, and then they jump to something else. Somebody comes out with another program. Somebody comes out with another concept. There's another trend. There's somebody in a group saying, hey, let's all do this. And they're bouncing. They're jumping back and forth, trying this kind of desperation. Anytime anybody throws something out there, they go running for it because that's going to be the next big thing. Just have a little patience. The lifestyle works. Just enjoy it. Just embrace it and try to make it a natural part of your life, and don't do it so much as this cerebral thing and do it like a diet. But anyhow, enough for today. That's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this message. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you tomorrow, and hope you all have a wonderful week. Peace.